Welcome to the Small Business Spotlight hosted by JAISIN Insurance Solutions. I'm Racquel Goldy. The goal is to bring more awareness to businesses and entrepreneurs in the local community. That being said, I'm here with Garrett Goodman. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I have to say, I think we're very lucky that we're in Florida right now with the palm trees. I see them behind you. I see them to my left outside because it's snowing in other places of the country. So, happy December. But I want to talk to you about how you doing because the name is great, if I do say so myself. But you have a different story than most. You took advantage of the pandemic. You and your wife, Gabrielle, you created How You Doin', How You Doin'. I love it. It's so great. Out of your house, basically in Boca Raton, Florida. So tell me how the company was born.
So it's a really interesting question. So I bought these it's a portable pizza oven. It's called the Rock Box. I bought it, from a Kickstarter program many years ago, and I was just kind of using it as like a little fun like passion project. I was originally buying pizza dough from like any place that would sell it to me, like out of the mall or wherever I could find it. And one of my really good buddies who actually introduced me to the Rock Box was like, "All right, if you're gonna do it and you're gonna make pizza," his exact words like, "Be a man, make the dough yourself." So I was like, all right,
Okay.
fine. So I bought all of these books and I just spent like every minute of my day, like reading and doing research and finding them. And like you said, when COVID came around, I was making pizzas with just like my wife and my daughter. And I was giving pizzas away to like my neighbors. They were bringing a cookie sheet and I was like handing pizzas like over my fence to neighbors onto
So
a cookie sheet, and they were going home and they were posting pictures about it on Instagram and Facebook, and people were like, "Oh my god, a sense of normalcy," and like these pizzas looked amazing, and people started reaching out to us, were like, "Wow, those look great. I would buy those." And I originally wasn't into it because I was like, you know what, like pizza's like for fun for me, and I'm doing it just like giving away for to friends and family. And my wife was like, you know what, look, let's give it a shot. So I said, we're not doing it unless we come up with a good name. And the name How You Doing was like almost like born immediately. It was like one of the first ones that came up, and we're like, wow, it's a home run. So like I went online and I was looking to see if anybody had it, and nobody had it.
wow.
So I was shocked. So I reached
Yeah.
out to the trademark attorney. I was like, let's lock this thing down. We set up an LLC and we started selling pizzas originally on Wednesdays I'm sorry, on Fridays out of our house, between like 3:45 and 8:45. And the first week we sold 25, then the next week 35, then 45, then 55. And we were having such trouble meeting demand that my wife and I were like, all right, look, let's try it a second night. And I didn't expect for it to sell out as quickly as it did on the second night. I was like, especially it's Wednesday, like Friday's a little bit different. People are like leaving work. And the
Right.
same thing happened exactly again on Wednesday. And I was like, this is crazy. And I was like, I think we have something here. And I had a really good career at a place I was working at for many years. And I looked my wife and I talked. I was like, you know what, this is my passion. Like we have a really good cult following at this point. I can't make them fast enough. Let's give this a shot. So I spoke to my business partners at my old place, and I was like, look, I'm gonna go and chase my dream. And they wished me all the best of luck, and I wish
Wow.
them all the best of luck. And we parted ways not too long ago, and How You Doing's become a full time gig for us at this point.
That's incredible. Have you always been interested in pizza and food, or as you've, through your life, you've kind of
Yeah,
found your passion for making pizzas? Like how did that come about?
it's
Why pizza?
funny.
Why not like cookies or something?
It's such an interesting question. So it's funny because like if my parents were standing to like the side of me, like they each weigh like 102 pounds. They're like the healthiest people in the world. They're like, I'll have my salmon grilled dry, no butter, no oil,
Right.
steamed vegetables. It's like I don't even know where I came from. My love for food is and hospitality has always been like a big passion for me. And it's funny because like I never really knew so much about like the back end of a restaurant, really more of like the front end of like how a customer should be treated. And it was always more of like, I know what I wouldn't do, more, not so much as like, I know what I should be doing.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot from How You Doing from like a customer service standpoint, which is why, I think we've built such a great loyal customer base. It's like, for us, there's no like rhyme or reason for when we give somebody a free pizza. We're like, oh, cool, we've seen you a couple of weeks in a row, like you've ordered pizza. Let's give this guy a free pizza. And they tell one person, the next person. It just like kind of just like exploded on us. But pizza, I grew up in New York, and like every New Yorker's like, oh, I know pizza, you know. So like it was always something. It was always something fun for me. I always enjoyed it, and it was really the rock box that really took me to the next level of like actually finding it therapeutic to get your hands dirty and mix pizza dough and like try stuff out and doing the research. So that's how pizza became like my passion project.
That's so interesting. Now, what do you think made your company so popular? Do you think it was because it was just good timing, or I mean, we said word of mouth
Yeah.
before. So, what do you think was the key point? Everyone was like, "This is so great. We gotta
Yeah.
get from you."
I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of a few factors. Number one, obviously, it sucks for, I feel bad. It's like for the big brick and mortar stores who's like families put their blood, life, sweat, and tears into these big places. And, unfortunately from lockdown, people either couldn't go or didn't want to go. So like it kind of fell into our laps on that front. But my daughter goes to school. She's 3. So she's at, she's at a little private school, and the mothers, like it spread
Mhm.
like wildfire from like one mom telling another mom to another mom. And like that's really how you dome was born. It was through like the moms from social media who decided like this pizza looks great, let's give it a go. And that's really how it started. But a lot of it I attribute to the fact that, and I don't want to pat myself on the back, it's good pizza. It's like it's
You
a
can pat yourself on the back. It's okay.
I've made a promise to myself, to my wife, and like to our customers that we would never skimp on ingredients. I'd source the best of which I can. And the thing is that's unique about, I don't want to call us like quick service. We are, because we're not a sit down restaurant.
Mhm.
Like we're pickup and delivery. But the thing that's really interesting about pizza is like each one is unique. They stretch to a different size. I don't measure like this one gets 3 ounces of sauce and 3 ounces of cheese and 4 slices of pepperoni. It's like I want the pizzas to be beautiful and great the way that I would want to eat them. So like many years ago, I was working. It's very funny at a bagel place, and the owner, like he owned a couple of them. I'm surprised he was as successful as he was. But like I would make these bagel sandwiches, and like he'd be like, no, you can't put more than 3 slices of tomato. And I'm like, sir, like it looks terrible. The tomatoes don't look good. So I was adding
Right.
like 4 or 5 of them. And he tells me, he goes, you're in the wrong business. Like you need to be in like high end gourmet service. Like this is like quick service food. And in my head, I'm like, if it doesn't look good and doesn't taste good, like why would somebody come back? So like for me, when it comes to making pizza, I always said, I don't care if this one gets a little bit more cheese or a little bit more sauce, so long as the customers enjoy it and they keep coming back. That's what was important to I want to say to me, but to my wife and I as like a family business. That's what was important to us.
I mean, I think with food, it needs to be aesthetically pleasing. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna, as the customer, I'm not gonna eat it if it doesn't look good. So I definitely applaud you for having that
Thank
mentality.
you.
What do you think the most important aspect of your company was when creating How You Doing?
I think it's the customer experience is really what it comes down to us. Like obviously, we're not a cheap pizza. We're not, we're definitely on the higher end pizza. But I think the branding and the customer experience is really what, and the name. I think, like we
So
people
good.
just people send us a message through Instagram, and it's always like, how you doing, Jim? Like how you doing, Raquel? How you doing, Stacy? It's like we've built a fun environment around the business. And I think that's part of what people keep coming back for, aside from, like I said, the fact that, the pizza is good. And I'd say the one real differentiating factor between us and the average pizza place is our pizza is all naturally leavened sourdough pizza. So like it's not like we take commercial yeast out of a bag. Like I took me, 2 weeks to get the starter going and to keep it alive. It's its own project. Trust me when I tell you, my wife will kill me. There's flour all over the place. I stink like pizza at the end of the day. Our kitchen was exploding with pizza stuff. She was like ready to kill me at some point, but it's part of what's made us who we are at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean trial and error with anything. That's how it's gonna be. That's just
For sure.
anything
For sure.
in at all, for sure. But okay, so I think you're the perfect person to ask this. So I think any words of wisdom to anyone out there who is wanting to kind of really take a leap of faith, start their own business that they've always wanted to have, but are terrified. What would you say to them?
Do it. Do it 100%. Do it with passion and love. And if you're not ready to commit to it 100%, don't do it. That's the truth, because you get one shot at it, especially in the beginning of like building a good customer base and a reputation. And if you're not 100% ready to commit to it, don't do it, which is partially why I gave up a really good career that, was afforded me a good life. And I was happy doing what I was doing. But once I found what I really, really loved, for me to commit to it and do it to the level at which I wanted to, it needed to be a full time thing. That would be my number one biggest piece of advice is if you're going to do it, commit to it 100%.
Now, where is How You Doing going to be going in the future?
It's a really good question. So when we first started talking about it, our goal was to franchise. That was our goal. I firmly believe as How You Doing continues to grow, we have a really good team behind us of really smart people from all different walks of life, from financial advisors, insurance agents, some of which actually worked with JAISIN. It's kind of how we got linked up, and I have nothing but great things to say about JAISIN, which is a side topic, which I know we'll get to in a few. But we want to open 4 or 5 locations, and we decided we want to do it in house. So if it's a slower growth and we pay for it in house, then so be it. But eventually we'd like to have 4 or 5 locations, and at some point watch my kids come into the business with me and watch them become dough people with me. That's the goal.
I love it. I'm very excited. And now I need to taste this pizza because I
Yeah,
think that's just the natural progression of this interview. You know what I mean?
I would
We'll get
say
there.
our menus, we post a menu on Monday morning at 10 a.m. for pizzas on Wednesday. And Wednesday, we post a menu in the morning at 10 a.m. for pizzas on Friday. They typically sell out very, very quick. So if you're going to get to it as early as possible is what I would recommend.
Okay, well, I will definitely keep that in mind. I will set the alarm on my phone.
For sure.
But I have to ask, why Jason Insurance Solutions? I mean, I know why, but I want to hear, your kind of testimonial.
You know, Jason's one of the few people that I know that I can trust to give me the answer, regardless if it's the one that I'm looking for or if it's not. I know he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to give it to me for real. And he's just a smart guy. Like Jason's just a sharp, all around guy. I mean, like I've worked with him from my previous career into my current career. And I've always felt that if I gave Jason a call, number one, he's going to pick up and he's going to answer, which is not the norm. But always he's going to give me a true, clear, decisive decision based upon facts. And again, I grew up with a dad who he wasn't going to sugarcoat it, and he was going to tell you, what you maybe didn't want to hear, but at the end of the day, what you needed to hear. And that's what I always loved about Jason. And he's a knowledgeable guy. He knows his business. So like the same way that I feel like I know pizza, I know Jason knows insurance solutions.
Mhm.
It's helped me with numerous different kinds of insurance at this point, and he's always found a great solution for me that's benefited me, and he's helped me grow because he's like, you may not need this now, but you will need this in the future, and let's table this for right now. And there's been plenty of times where like I've come back and said, wow, like I didn't think about that, thank God you did. And that's been something that's been important for me to help us succeed.
Yes, communication is key, and so is planning ahead. Thank you so much, Garrett, for joining me. I'm so excited to taste this pizza. Where can everyone find your social media? Because I know the website's going to be coming soon.
Yes. So if you go onto Instagram and you type in how you doing, it's HOWYADOUGHN, how you doing? You'll find us there. Follow us, tell your friends about it. We'd love to have you guys, and anytime you want to come by, let us know. We'll schedule you a spot for pizza.
Thank you. I'm so honored and so excited.
Thank you very much. This is great. And again, I can't say enough about Jason and his team. Honestly, it's as much as it's him. He's got a great team of people behind him, and I couldn't recommend them any more, I honestly don't know what to say. He's been great for me for everything he's done. So that's what I got for you.
That's what we like to hear. Thank you so much again for joining me, Garrett. I am Racquel Goldy, and I will see you next time on another Small Business Spotlight.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.